This is Leilani Mitchell, and you're listening to the 3-Point Conversion.
Just by focusing one day at a time and not getting too high, not getting too low, adjusting, making sure we tighten up our schemes and all those things. But we got to enjoy what we're doing and have fun as well.
All right, thanks for this video. Let's go to our Zoom questions. We'll start with Jeff Brown. Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you touched on it a little bit already, but I wanted to ask, statistically, this is Stewie's worst shooting from three-point range this year. So how important is it for her to utilize her post game and force that action down low? And do you think that she could even take advantage of that more often?
Jeff, I missed the first part of your question. Can you ask it again?
Yeah, just touch on the fact that statistically, this is Stewie's worst shooting from three-point range for like the entire season, not just this game, but overall. Okay. And so but obviously tonight she did all her damage in the low post. So I guess can she how important is it for her to have that post game and to utilize that? And can she take advantage of that more often?
She definitely can, especially if teams are switching, and back to kind of Kevin's question, when teams switch and load up with bigger post players, when Sadie's is on the floor, so it allows them to kind of to load up even more. When you go smaller and have 3-point shooters on the floor, we space out a little bit more. So now those switches are against smaller guards instead of post players. You know what I mean? So just understanding, first of all, who's switching on you. If you notice, we try to get her in the middle of the floor to operate so that you can't double as easy as just kind of being on the block. But I think this is, something that she can continue to incorporate with her game and understanding. She's going to find her groove. We all know that. But if she's not shooting the three well, the ability to be physical, to get down and get to the free throw line, 11 free throws. I mean, just finding other ways to get buckets and kind of will a win. I think it's important for her. I'm talking about you.
And then, so defensively, you guys held New York to just 11 points in that fourth quarter. Sabrina Ionescu had 20 for the game, but was held scoreless in the fourth. What were the keys defensively?
Jewel Lloyd. That was the key. We were also, if you notice, Jewel was pressuring her in her grill, but also we started, switching a little bit more, taking her out of her comfort, being a little bit aggressive. She was in the middle of the floor, so it's hard to trap her. But I think just being physical back with her, staying in her space. But Jewel was on her majority of that time. I thought she did an excellent job on her.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, and we'll wrap things up with M. Adler. M, take us home.
Hey, Coach. Just wanted to ask, I know that, so I'm sure that you have more advanced methods for looking at players' loads, their tracking. I'm just wondering, given everyone's loads from the Olympics, if you're at all concerned about, playing like 35, 38 minutes for the big three?
Nope. And that was an echo from Stewie. No, I mean, at this point of the season, everybody's fatigued. Everybody's tired. You can't think too much of the future until you take care of the present. And every game is important. And I know Stewie will back me up if I say if Stewie has to play 38-08 next game too to get a win, that's what we'll do and worry about how we rest and, rejuvenate after. But I think, it's hard to think about resting again. It's hard to think about the approach until we start, playing better and feeling like we're in a good spot. And we're still trying to find that groove.
Sure. And then just wanted to ask about Julie. Obviously your defense was sensational. Her job in terms of passing, in terms of the energy on the rebounds. The jumper was short all night, really, for the most part. I was just wondering, how do you see such an excellent overall effort in every part of the game, despite the jumper? I'm just wondering, how does that happen in one night for someone?
I mean, it's just being an elite player and understanding basketball isn't solely scoring. And if it's not going well on one end of the floor, how can I be impactful on the other end of the floor? If it's going to get a rebound, if it's going to get a stop, going to get a steal, pressuring up the floor, you have to find ways to impact the game, because especially knowing that you're going to play 30 something minutes. And I thought that she was unselfish offensively. I thought that she had some very key plays defensively. And that's just the evolution again, like just understanding it's not solely about getting buckets. You got to get stops and, be a force on the other end of the floor as well.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
All right,
Em.
thanks, Coach. We
All right,
appreciate
guys.
it. We'll bring in our players here in just a moment. We're going to give Steph 1 second here just to join us. And if we don't see her here soon, we'll get started and have her join us when she's ready.
Yeah, I don't know, but
All right, we'll go ahead and get started here with questions from our group here in person here. Percy, why don't you kick us off? And just as a reminder, if you could direct your question so that the players know who the question is for.
Thank you. This is for Stewie. Hey, on Sunday, you said, I forgot, it's not a direct quote, but you said something to the effect that you'd be surprised to find a team that shot 17% on threes and actually won the game. Guess what? 14. So it says what about this team that you guys can have a perimeter, night like that and still win this game?
I mean, we're defying the odds. That's for sure. But I think we had the mentality before the game. We really wanted to get the ball into the paint. We knew that they were last in paint protection or whatever it was, and also knew that they fouled. So we wanted to get there. And I think just the schemes that they had, they were switching a lot, so it forced us to get post ups or to find someone on the block. And we got tons of good looks. I mean, Sue got a lot, Joe got a lot, I got a lot. And they just didn't go, but next game they will. Yeah. I mean, I was just not putting my head down, but in a sense, putting my head down and trying to get to the basket. And I think that's what we were all doing, because we knew that, they're not going to be matched up the way that they want. And, even if we missed the first shot, I know Jewel got O boards, Steph got O boards. We were still fighting every possession that we had.
We'll go over to Mazavita. Mazavita.
All right. Jewel, just when Breanna's hitting, just your commitment to saying, I'm going to make an impact in the game on the defensive end, and I don't have to make it on the offensive end. Can you just talk about that commitment to have an impact on the game in any way you're able to?
I think that's the beauty of sports in general. Definitely in basketball, there's so many little things that you could do throughout the game to help. My shot has been falling. That's fine. I know I can affect the game on the defensive end, and that's kind of just our team. You want to pick up, and I don't want to let my teammates down. You could be selfish and be pouty because you're not making shots, but that's not what I'm about. That's not what we're about. So I just try to get it done on the defensive end when I need to.
One last one for you. What was it looked like the mood of the team and the warm-ups? You guys were relaxed. You weren't like, this is the fourth game of 0-3. Can you just talk about the synergy of the team?
Yeah, we started off shoot around with 2 great baskets that were the same height. We were able to, that started us well compared to last time. And I think we just had a different energy. I think the 2 days of practice and being around with each other and kind of resetting, getting back to the basics definitely helped us come into this game more relaxed. And I think I mean, we're super confident in each other, in our abilities. And, I think we felt that today and early in shoot around, and then as well going into the game.
Stephanie, would you, when you're out there, what do you see your role as during the games, and in particular today, what did you seem to always just be in the right spot when you were on that court. How do you see your play with everyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a big impact defensively. I have the capabilities to be a lockdown defender when I put my mind to it. And at the other end, I can really space the floor, use my spacing to create more space for Stewie inside and move on offense to help my other teammates get open, but having the ability to knock down shots when I'm open at the same time.
Great, thank you. And for anyone, what's it like now to have fans back in the stands? They were going crazy tonight. Just from your perspective, having them back and being able to hear them.
I think it's just energy. We need energy in the building. That's a big thing for momentum shifts. And obviously, we love our fans, and that's a big part of just competition is having that. And, when you get on a roll, they get loud, and it definitely helps when you need them.
All right, we'll go to our Zoom group. We'll start with Mario, who's up late in Syracuse. Mario, go ahead and kick us off.
I think this one's for Joel.
Oh, man.
Just hanging out, need some coffee. Stewie, congrats on a great game tonight. Did you take it upon yourself at halftime? You guys down at halftime, upon yourself to will this team to a victory in the second half, or was more just finding your flow and getting things rolling?
Yeah, I mean, going into halftime, we were down, I think, 5, and I don't think any of us were really concerned. As we were just asked about the relaxed approach for the start of the game, we had that at halftime as well, and just knew that, we had to tighten up some things defensively and offensively. We were just, things were going to still come to us, and for myself, just continuing to be aggressive. Like I said before, they were switching a lot and knew that was going to get me with a guard on the block and just trying to make a strong move.
If I can ask a quick follow-up, do you feel, and Coach talked about it, and you even said it, you said, I'll play 40 minutes if I have to, but do you feel the legs now are kind of back under you as a whole team, back under you now? You got a couple of practices in, and this was the night to kind of prove it.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it as a team. Like we're in a great place as far as, we have 3 games left over 2+ weeks. So we have a lot of time to rest, recover, practice, and then go out and do what we're supposed to do. And if we have to play high minutes, then that's what we have to do because we need these wins.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Stuart.
All right, thanks, Mario. We'll go over to Jeff Brown. Jeff, go ahead.
This question's for Jewel. You guys held them to 11 points in the fourth quarter. Sabrina Ionescu had 20 for the game, but was held scoreless in the fourth. What were the keys defensively?
I didn't want her to score.
Any different adjustments that you guys made as a team, or was that just more you hey, I'm shutting her down right now?
Honestly, I think just our whole team was just aware of what we were trying to do. It wasn't always perfect, but we executed. And our ability to talk through their guard-to-guard stuff, but I think just turning up the defensive pressure and creating some momentum kind of put them on their heels a little bit and got us going.
And then for Stewie, obviously a big game for you, specifically in the low post. How important is that for you to take advantage of those matchups? Because obviously you are a perimeter player as well. But when you kind of have size to be able to take advantage down low, and do you think that you could even do that maybe a little more often?
Yeah, I definitely think I can get in the post more often and make a strong move to the basket instead of, a finesse or a jump shot. I think that, a lot of times playing, I just take what the defense gives me. But, tonight kind of forcing their hand a little bit and making sure that it was an aggressive move no matter what it was.
And one for Stephanie. You guys finished the third quarter and like the start of the fourth on a 17-4 run. What were kind of the keys there to turning the game around in your favor?
I think it was our defense. We were getting stops and we were able to run and play a freer style of offense because we were shutting them down at the other end.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you joining us.
Oh, man.